Greetings, everyone. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for taking your time to open this video and have a look at it. I am an aspiring teacher currently doing my third year and intermediate phase under under the teaching of natural sciences. My presentation is going to explain how I'm going to use my digital simulation in a school where there is limited resources, not only one not only in terms of books but also technology. So this was pretty much interesting for me to do because I just had to literally put myself in a classroom where there is no equipment such as projectors, big speakers that are up in the walls, and so forth. So how I plan to overcome is that my simulation is going to be a simple thing that I'm going to improvise by using my laptop and internet connection. My simulation is going to help my learners immediately observe how a seed responds to the conditions it needs, like water, sunlight, air, in real time, instead of having to wait for weeks and weeks of the practical to see how long it takes for the seed to mature into a full plant. My simulation is going to have two parts where one, it will not have any, or let me say it will have limited water to the seed or added to the seed, and then the other one will have enough conditions needed for the seed to grow. Now to start with my simulation to show you. Now we start. There is my seed. I'm going to add water to it. So you will see that it has captions there. It says the plant is watered, then it has a stage, a growth stage, and then it has, you see the water is 100%, the level of the water is at 100%. You see that the plant is growing fairly good at 100%. We are at day 3, the sprout stage begins. So as this simulation is gonna go on, I will be reading these captions to help my learners who are auditory, to help them stay engaged throughout the simulation, because you would notice that there is no sound. So I think that it will be important for me to speak to just at least keep them awake and to make sure that they are following. So now you will note that it is at the last stage. The plant is fully mature and we are now good to go. Now you would note that here on my far right that there's an icon that says stay night, and you're probably wondering why is that. It's because I'm trying to now see how my learners are going to think or just so forth, come with conclusions or predictions. For instance, I am going to have um, some worksheet where I'm going to ask them to predict that what will happen if the plant or the seed had no water. And also one that I would like to have is that what if this plant does not receive any light? This is not realistic for me to say that in this world it should stay night. It is very much impossible. But just to check if they're following uh what the conditions, or if they're seeing what the conditions are for a plant to fully grow. And then during the simulation, I'm going to ask the learners to record the observations, like in a simple table that where they are going to compare round 1 where there's no water, and then round 2 where there is water. So we already did round 1. Now we're going to round 2. I'm going to say reset, start growth, You will note that the water level is at 50%. The germination begins. But you will note that the simulation is, or the plant or the seed is pretty much growing at the same level the previous one was growing at. It's just, I think, one day slower. Let's just see if I say stay night, or maybe I could rephrase it and say let the plant or the seed receive no sunlight. But this is it. You will note that I mentioned that my learners will also be recording, making predictions, observations, and as well as analysis. So this will help my learners who are kinesthetic to participate actively rather than passively. So now you will note that the plant is not growing because it has no exposure to the sun, and the water level is pretty much low, and it is still at stage 4. Moving on, here is where they are going to now put in what they have observed, or they're going to record. They will have to count day 1, what was happening day 1, how many days probably it took, maybe in some rows, maybe day 2 and 3 it was when germination was happening. So then for the second table is where they will have plant with water, what did they observe, what was happening to the plant. So to conclude my presentation, my digital simulation allows learners to engage with scientific inquiry even in my class where there is no fancy or technological resources and equipment. It makes the plant's growth to be visible. It supports or aligns with the CAPS learning content, and also encourages prediction, observation, analysis, recording, which are the science process skills that are needed for the child to know and use. It is also uh, so with this linked, pardon, with the linked assessment activity, my learners are not only shown information, but they actively construct their own understanding of what plants need to grow. Thank you.